do this to an avoidant, they'll come back and apologize for the pain they caused. It actually works. Most people think avoidants will apologize like everyone else does. You expect heartfelt conversations. You wait for them to sit you down and explain how sorry they feel, send you long messages about their regret, or show up at your door with flowers and tears. Instead, you get radio silence, weird mixed signals, or even worse, they act like nothing happened while you're still bleeding inside. But here's the truth nobody talks about. Avoidants do carry guilt about hurting you. They just process shame completely differently than other people. If you know how to trigger their internal alarm system, you can make them face what they've done, not through force, but through a psychological shift that makes them chase the apology instead of you chasing them for one. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Avoidants actually panic when you stop caring about getting closure from them, when you try to make them acknowledge your hurt feelings. They disappear faster than you can blink. Not because they think your pain is unimportant, but because having someone's emotions directed at them feels like being trapped in a burning building. Their worst fear is being responsible for someone else's emotional state. So when you come to them asking for emotional validation, even when you deserve it completely, their survival instincts kick in. They protect their own emotional safety instead of considering yours. But what if the fastest way to get an avoidant to apologize is to make them think they lost you forever? Here's the psychology behind it. You completely stop trying to get them to understand anything. You stop sending texts about how much they hurt you. You stop bringing up what happened between you. And most importantly, you make an internal decision that changes your entire energy. One that says, I'm moving forward with or without your acknowledgement. Why does this flip everything upside down? Because when you stop needing them to repair the damage, the avoidant suddenly realizes a connection might actually be gone. That emptiness hits them like a truck. And for the first time, they feel the real consequences of their emotional unavailability. The game changer is switching from trying to get through to them to focusing entirely on yourself. You become calm, confident, and completely okay with whatever happens next. You don't need to have dramatic conversations. You don't need to make them feel guilty on purpose. You just let your self-respect be the only voice that matters. Something like, I cared about us, but I won't sacrifice my peace trying to get you to care too. That's pure strength. And that's what makes an avoidance walls start crumbling down. Now here's where the psychology gets really interesting. Avoidants don't admit they hurt someone because deep down, they believe they're fundamentally broken. They're terrified that if they acknowledge the damage they caused, you'll see them as the monster they think they're inside. But here's the twist. When you stay completely calm and regulated, when you don't fall apart or attack them, they see something that changes everything. You're not trying to destroy them with shame. You're just not willing to be hurt anymore. That's a reflection they can actually handle looking at. And that's usually what starts melting their frozen emotions. Don't underestimate what happens when you become perfectly still inside. When you stop arguing your case, stop trying to make them understand. Stop over-explaining why you're hurt. Your energy transforms from please validate my pain to I validate my own experience. That shift is magnetic in a way that confuses avoidance. When you hold yourself with that kind of inner strength, it sends a message that says, I'm not going to lose myself in you. I'm not going to chase you down, but I will protect myself if I need to. That energy often wakes up the exact self-awareness they've been running from their whole lives. And let's talk about what their apology actually looks like when it comes, because it definitely won't sound like what you see in movies. Sometimes it shows up as actions instead of words. They'll randomly check in on you, offer to help with something you mentioned weeks ago, remember details about your life they usually forget, or send you something that reminds them of an inside joke you shared. These little gestures are their way of saying, I realize what I lost. I want to find a way back in. It's not dramatic or over the top, but it's genuine. The key is learning to hear their intention behind the awkward delivery. If they say something like, I know I haven't been great at staying in touch, that's avoidance speak for, I'm sorry I disappeared on you. If they mention, I've been thinking about some things you said, that's them cracking the door open to a real conversation. What matters isn't whether they deliver a perfect Hollywood apology, but whether there's actual humility and recognition in their attempt. That's what you respond to, not the packaging, but the genuine effort to make things right. But here's a critical warning. There's a huge temptation to turn this into a game, to withdraw strategically just to get a reaction out of them. That's not healing. That's manipulation. You don't want to trick an avoidant into apologizing. You want to create genuine emotional space where they can arrive at remorse naturally. Your power comes from being authentic, not from playing emotional chess. Let's be completely honest. This approach won't work on every avoidant person you meet. If someone is emotionally abusive, has narcissistic traits, or is so deeply avoidant that they have zero capacity for self-reflection, they might never apologize no matter what you do. This strategy isn't about accepting bad treatment or waiting around for someone to treat you better. It's about shifting the emotional atmosphere so that healthy guilt and remorse have room to surface. If there's genuine care underneath their walls, and if they have even a tiny bit of emotional awareness, they will eventually feel the loss. Most people think apologies happen because you confront someone directly about their mistakes. But with avoidance, confrontation usually makes them build thicker walls. They get defensive. They make excuses. They disappear completely. But when you remove the emotional pressure and replace it with quiet accountability, something incredible happens. You're not trying to extract an apology from them anymore. You're simply showing them who you are and saying, this is how I love people. This is what I bring to relationships. And this is what I won't accept moving forward. The real magic happens when they finally do come forward. When the avoidant who used to ghost you, blame you, or act like your feelings didn't matter suddenly looks you in the eye and says, I'm sorry I hurt you. It hits different because they had to overcome their own internal resistance to get there. That apology has weight because you didn't force it out of them. You stopped trying to fix them and started honoring yourself instead. So here's what you actually do. Take a step back from the situation. Step into your own power. Stop arguing for your pain to be acknowledged. Stop trying to convince someone to care about how they made you feel. Let your boundaries do the talking. Let your silence be sacred, not spiteful. And give them the choice to meet you from a place of genuine desire, not emotional pressure. You don't need to punish anyone to get them to hear you. You don't need to create drama to get them to see you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can communicate is nothing at all, combined with unshakable self-worth. That's when everything shifts. That's when the avoidant can finally look at the impact of their actions without shutting down completely. And that's when real healing starts happening. If this resonated with something deep in your heart, remember that your real power isn't in making anyone say sorry to you. It's in how you choose to rise above the situation, respond from strength, and protect your own emotional well-being. Don't chase understanding from chaos. Become the understanding, and the right people, even the emotionally unavailable ones, will feel that energy. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Your healing journey starts with you.